Hello everybody, welcome to this session on GST. Today we will be covering audit, demand and recovery of tax and appeals and revisions under GST. Let us start with audit under GST. Audit means examination of records, returns and other documents maintained or furnished by the taxable person as per GST Act or rules or any other law for the time being in force to verify the correctness of turnover declared, taxes paid, refund claimed and input tax credit availed, and to assess his compliance with the provisions of this Act or rules. As part of the regular compliance process, a business with turnover exceeding Rs 2 crores has to file the audited annual accounts and a reconciliation statement duly certified by a practicing CA or a cost accountant. This is one type of audit under GST. In addition to this, the tax department conducts audit at a taxpayer's place of business with prior intimation to the taxpayer. This is usually conducted to reconcile the tax declared by the taxpayer and the tax suspected by the department. Let us now see the procedure in which audit will be conducted by the tax department. The taxable person will be informed by a notice not less than 15 working days before the audit. The tax authorities will conduct audit at the place of business of the taxable person and or in their office. The audit shall be carried out in a transparent manner and completed within a period of 3 months from the date of commencement of audit. If the Commissioner is satisfied that audit in respect of the person cannot be completed within 3 months from the date of commencement of audit, he can, for reasons to be recorded in writing, extend the audit by a further period not exceeding 6 months. Commencement of audit means the date on which the records and other documents called for by the tax authorities are made available by the taxable person, or the actual beginning of audit at the place of business of the person, whichever is later. During the course of audit, the authorized officer may require the taxable person to provide him the necessary facility to verify the books of accounts or other documents as he may require and which may be available at that place. Furnish the information as he may require and render assistance for timely completion of the audit. On conclusion of audit, the officer shall inform the taxable person whose records are audited within 30 days about the findings, the taxable person's rights and obligations, and the reasons for the findings. If the audit results in detection of tax not paid or short paid or erroneously refunded or input tax credit wrongly availed or utilized, the officer must initiate action for recovery of the amount. Let us now understand what is special audit under GST. At any stage of scrutiny, inquiry, investigation or any other proceeding, if an officer not below the rank of Deputy or Assistant Commissioner is of the opinion that the value of tax has not been correctly declared or the credit availed is not within the normal limits, he can direct for special audit with prior approval of the Commissioner. Under special audit, the taxable person should get his or her records, including books of accounts, examined and audited by a chartered accountant or a cost accountant as nominated by the Commissioner. The nominated chartered accountant or cost accountant must within 90 days submit a report of the audit duly signed and certified by him to the Deputy or Assistant Commissioner. We'll now understand demand and recovery of tax under GST. If a taxable person fails to pay any sum imposed by way of interest, fine, penalty, or any other sum payable, the officer is empowered to initiate actions for recovery of the sum. There are various scenarios which lead to action for recovery of tax. Some of the scenarios are: tax has not been paid or short paid or wrongly refunded, or input tax credit has been wrongly availed or utilized. Tax has been collected but not deposited with the central or a state government. Tax has been wrongfully collected and deposited with the central or a state government. That is, a person has deposited CGST and SGST on a transaction which is actually an interstate supply, or IGST on a transaction which is actually an intrastate supply. Let us now see the procedure by which a taxable person or GST officer can file an appeal against the order of an adjudicating authority. Adjudicating authority is any authority with powers to pass any order or decision under GST. Shown here is the hierarchy in which a person can file an appeal against the adjudicating authority. First, the person can file an appeal to the first appellate authority. If not satisfied, the person can file an appeal to the appellate tribunal, then a high court, and finally the Supreme Court. As you can see, the highest authority is the Supreme Court and the lowest in the hierarchy is the first appellate authority. Let us now see the procedure for appeals. We'll see the time within which a taxable person should file an appeal and the time within which a GST officer must file an appeal against an adjudicating authority. A person can file an appeal to the first appellate authority within 3 months from the date on which the decision or order is communicated. In the case of a GST officer, it is 6 months from the date on which the decision or order is communicated. In case of an appeal to the appellate tribunal, a person must file an appeal within 3 months from the date of communication of order by the first appellate authority or a revisional authority, that is, the Commissioner or Chief Commissioner. In the case of a GST officer, it is 6 months from the date of communication of order by first appellate authority or revisional authority. An appeal to the High Court must be made by a taxable person or GST officer within 180 days from the date of receiving the order passed by appellate tribunal. An appeal shall go to the Supreme Court from any judgment or order passed by the High Court on its own motion or on an oral application made by or on behalf of the aggrieved party immediately after passing of the judgment or order by the High Court. Today, we have seen a brief overview of audit, demand and recovery of tax, and appeals and revisions under GST. To learn more on GST, you can visit our blog blogs.tallysolutions.com. You can also download our app Tally for GST from the Play Store. Thank you.